A warm welcome to you wherever it is you joining us from around the world. This is Enterprise Morning on Enterprise Television, reaching you from our headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria. I am Henry Igwebike. And in a bit, we'll be going to our newspaper review segments, and after that will be our main conversation also for today, where we'll get everything all produced for you and just for you. Please do well to visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com. Like, comment respectfully, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. Our guests today in the studios to do justice to our newspaper reviews segment and possibly take us on our main conversation are Barrister Evans Ufeli, a barrister at law and a public affairs commentator, and also Emeka Madunago, the journalist and also a public affairs commentator. Good morning to you, gentlemen.
Good morning.
And welcome to Enterprise Morning today.
Hello.
All right, so quickly, let's start off our newspaper reviews with the first daily I have right here, and this is The Nation, a newspaper. The big story here says Rivers crisis. Police retains control of council secretariat. And the writer here says Fubara appointed caretaker chairman can't access offices. And on the top strip of the same newspaper, all set for Olakulehin coronation as fourth third Olubadan. And anxiety in Kano over federal court ruling on Emir Torso. And still on the top strip of the Nation newspaper, Custom generates a 4.49 trillion naira in 1 year. And on the bottom strip of the same newspaper, we have alleged terrorism and Nnamdi Kanu 6 out of court settlement, and that's on page 28 of the Nation newspaper. But let's get into the big story here. Rivers crisis. Police retain control of council secretariat. Emeka Madunago, you're very vast, especially with this story, and bring us up to speed. The last time we talked about this, it was still an issue of the outgoing LGA, chairpersons saying they want to go, and today the police is still in control of the secretariat. So what is happening currently?
Yes. No, of course, the police are just doing their job, to ensure security and orderliness in the society. Of course, when the tenure of the outgone council chairman ended, when they expired, there were, of course, there were signs of mayhem. Supporters of the governor have reportedly trooped to the secretariats of the councils across the state to ensure that the chairman left, because some of the chairmen the former chairman had actually been boasted that they will stay in office beyond that date, and the police did nothing, the DSS did nothing. You ought to arrest such persons, at least put them in the cooler for some time so that they'll learn how not to instigate mayhem in the society. But be that as it may, of course, the police has now woken up, because after a policeman was killed, a policeman and a vigilance officer, local vigilance officer were killed, then the police suddenly, woke up and decided to occupy the council secretariat. Now, the outcome chairmen are just banking on what the Attorney General of Rivers State is, calling a misinterpretation of the judgment of the Rivers State High Court, on a matter brought before it by the Speaker, Okojumbo. So they were now claiming that the Amewule, Martin Amewule, leadership, the faction under the former Speaker, Martin Amewule, that they granted an extension, of 6 months to the council chairman. But of course, you cannot grant such. There is nowhere in the Rivers State local government law that talks about the extension of tenure for local government chairman. So, but they will not. The matter now is at the appeal court. You are hoping that the appeal court would, sort of give them an escape route, but the appeal court refused to do that. So now that I'm talking about the Martin Amewule, they thought the appeal court would somehow, recognize.
It's today. The judgment is today.
The judgment is today. So. That, but I think there was an initial portion where they hoped that the appeal court would say that, will give effect to whatever.
The court below said
resisting.
you cannot make a law that is contrary to the Constitution, because the Constitution already sets 3 years tenureship for chairmen of local government. The court also said they should stop parading themselves as speakers, as lawmakers, before the other judgment, the one that has to do with what the court struck it out that has no jurisdiction, came in.
All right, so I would love you to continue on that pace, especially as it concerns the caretaker, chairman of Fubara not being able to access the offices of the LGAs. What do you think?
Fubara is conflicting the issues. That is why, you see, analysis on Fubara is very, sometimes you're analyzing this way, he comes with his own,
very unpredictable.
He comes with his own illegality, and you are not able to, at the end of the day, the analyst will not look stupid. Yes, I've been going through that for a while. I see, it's Fubara, day before yesterday, said that the administrators of the local government authorities should take over. You understand? Because the reason the chairman didn't want to leave, okay, not just on the basis of the extension, the purported extension, which the court has actually thrown out. They also didn't want to leave because they got a wind of the information that Fubara is going to set up a caretaker committee that will take over from them. And because they are not in the good book of Fubara, that the likelihood that they are going to go into the books, what Fubara just ordered now, not only did he constitute the caretaker committee, but he has also brought in auditors to audit the accounts of the outgoing chairman. And what that portends is that any politician looking at that from hindsight, you know that there's it's set now. It's like a jungle actually, because not only does not only that he's fighting Wike, he wants to also pin down this local government chairman in the same box, outgoing chairman in the same box, and they didn't want that. So they've been saying they will. Of course, they came out the day they had this clash. That was yesterday, right? They came out with their own talks too, and they clashed with the community, the people in the community, the youth and all that have said that they should not even go back to office. But you see, when Fubara said that the administration should take over, I commended him for that. Yeah, okay, especially at a time when the federal government had taken the state governors to court on this issue of local government autonomy. One of the prayers they are asking for the federal government is that the court should grant a restraining order against governors from, dissolving democratically elected chairmen of local government authority. Two, their funds should go directly to them. Okay, they should have immunity and the rest of that. Okay, one would have thought that we are at the verge of the Supreme Court have reserved a date now for that to go. One would have thought that by now a governor should not be talking about caretaker committee, but I should begin to prepare the ground for election. There's no law that says the administrators cannot head until elections. What's the difference between the administrators and this caretaker committee that you are bringing? Okay, but what Fubara wants is he wants to use his own loyalists to man the local government until the state is ready for local government election.
And possibly creating his own structure. But the APC...
That is his structure.
Yes, but the APC is saying, because with what we are saying now, there is room for anarchy, and the APC is calling for a state of emergency.
No, sorry, it's not the APC, it's Tony Okocha.
Yeah.
Because the APC... Tony Okocha, yes, he's the caretaker chairman. You see, the media is also, is also part of the problem. The way we situate stories, that somebody is the chairman doesn't necessarily mean that he's speaking for the party, because some other members of the party have come out this morning, they came out yesterday to say they never asked Tony Okocha to go and ask for state of emergency. That there is nothing on ground to show, a state of emergency.
State of emergency is not even something you can apply for. It's the president's prerogative.
At any time.
Once there's chaos and the breakdown of law and order. Yeah, I said it yesterday, even before this Tony Okocha's expression, that when you were saying what are the options left, you asked the question yesterday. And I said, what are the options? If Fubara is not going to listen And if a wicked, they are not going to listen, and they want to continue to put the people of Rivers in crisis. Now the option open is the president will declare state of emergency and remove Fubara, bring in anybody that may not even be from Rivers as an administrator. Maybe by that time their body will calm down, because by that time that person will be taking instruction from the president and not from the State House of Assembly or any listen from Rivers State. So they need to quell this storm. The battle for supremacy. You cannot be an ex-governor and then be a governor at the same time.
All right. So from one court case to another, please, I would love you to take us on the Kano Emirate Tozo, anxiety in Kano over federal court ruling on Emirs Tozo.
Well, it's the same thing. You can see now that the traditional rulers are even worse than the politicians. Ordinarily, in the days of yore, the traditional stew comes with a lot of abomination, comes with a lot of spiritual injunctions. Okay, these are injunctions that are orchestrated by tradition and convention. Okay, but today they have mixed it up with politics. Okay, and this is not the first time having these thoughts in Kano. These thoughts have been there from the days of yore, when you have politicians now interfering.
Meddling in.
Because the laws also that brings them to office and take them out and all that. It's a state function law. It's a law of the State House of Assembly. Okay, and that is of political reference. Okay, so at the end of the day, what we have here is both sides have followers. The outgone one and the present. There used to be an outgone one too. Okay, they all have followers. So there'll be anxiety until the court is able to put it straight who should be. But when you look at it, an existing law passed validly by the State House of Assembly, okay, recognize Sanusi. Okay, you understand? However, the way the other one was disposed, he felt it's also a subject of litigation, that he can, use the instrumentality of the law to challenge it, and that's what is going on. So there will be tension.
All right. So let's move on to the next daily. It's coming from the Vanguard newspaper, and the big story here says minimum wage. Why governors' orders are foot dragging. And the writer here says, may retrenched workers need bailout to pay. And on the top strip of the same newspaper, accustomed to establish stable FX rate for imports, Naira depreciation makes Lagos, Abuja cheapest global cities for expatriates. That's coming from an analyst. On the top strip of the same newspaper, Vanguard, that is, cholera outbreak, federal government may declare emergency, and that's coming from the NCDC-DG. Edo Goba, PDP expels Shaibu, cites some anti-party activity. On the bottom strip of the same newspaper, Obaseki gives Edo CP 7 days to fish out killers of Uniban graduate. Emeka, let's talk about Edo State now. PDP expelling Shaibu, cites anti-party activities. And now tell us, this is the same Shaibu who has, been very head on wanting to be the flag bearer for the PDP. I want to believe if there's one person that is very patriotic with the PDP, it should be Shaibu. Why should the PDP desire to expel him?
You can't be patriotic and take your party to court. Once you join your political party, you have bound yourself by the rules of the party.
Even if you're fighting for your rights at that point.
What right are you fighting for? See, politics, the political party is an association of people of like minds. Now, before you take the party to court, it should be as a matter of last resort. And the issues were very clear. During the last election, they had to seek external help from Wike to, talk to party leaders, who were suspected to be trying to betray Obaseki. Wike, helped them to stabilize the situation. Okay. Now, they came into power. Not long after, the same former Shaibu insulted Wike. Insulted Wike. And then
even Obaseki.
No, even yes, Obaseki was later. Yes, but now the party decided that okay, we want to bring in Asue Ighodalo as the flag bearer, for the next election. But you are saying willy-nilly that you must go. And they told you, listen, Shaibu, this is very clear. Zoning is respected in Edo State politics. Edo South has taken it. Before Edo South was Oshomole, Edo North. Then Edo South, Obaseki. Now I want to give it to Edo Central. Now within Edo Central, there is a way it is structured. Edo Central, then a part of Edo North that's, geographically contiguous to Edo Central. And Shaibu, your area doesn't fall in there. So now we cannot give you the ticket. It's not possible to give you the ticket. Because these people, the last time Edo Central produced a governor of Edo State was when Ambrosali. Then after Ambrosali, the Osereme Osumbo, but it was just short-lived. And then the court kicked him out, for Shomole. So let us ensure justice and equity and fair play. Let's give it to Edo Central. Shaibu refused. No way. That him. Why? You have forgotten that Pius Odubu was the deputy to Shomole from Edo South. But at the end of the day, the party pushed him aside. Very loyal deputy governor. He never gave Oshomole any issues. And then brought in Obaseki. So now, in your case, they said, okay, you are still a young man. You are in your early 50s. Relax. Politics is not, resolved in a day. We will still find somewhere to accommodate you. Let Asue Ighodalo go. These guys have the money. These guys can mobilize money and all that, investments and all that. For so many reasons. But Shaibu said, no way, willy-nilly. So, of course, it has come to a point. He took the party to court, he lost. It has come to a point now that this man is openly romancing with APC and still remaining in PDP. No party will allow that. So they have to ask him to go. Not just him. Danobi, who is the sitting vice chairman, South. How can you be you see, Nigerian politicians are very funny. How can you be a sitting party official and you are working against the interest of the party because you don't like the government? No.
But it's not new to our politics in Nigeria.
It's not new. That is even part of what the president used. Okay. There are a lot of PDP officials who work for Tinubu.
Yes.
A lot of them, including Wike. Okay, they work for him. He used them largely because it's about sometimes just interests, or sometimes it's just about hypocrisy. These are politicians that have no ideology in the first place. So we are not going to come to a point where they are going to give us good governance, because first they have no integrity. Many of them are hypocritical about even their political party. Do you know that even members of the Central Working Committee, some of them work for Tinubu? You can imagine the highest cadre of the work for Tinubu.
It was even worse under Jonathan.
Yes. So it's porous. That's why I keep telling you that Nigeria have one political party. I'm just telling you, during the election, they'll divide into 3. There's how to...
Or 18.
Those ones are just pretense. At the end of the day, they will come into one listening. Look at Bode George now.
Exactly.
Bode George that said if Tinubu win election, he will go on exile.
Right now, he's asking us to give him 1 year.
Nice, actually. Because Tinubu met him after when he was going around to, thank people that met him and they discussed. He was like, what is the problem? You understand? So now Bode George is the one that, even after all these mistakes that Tinubu had made from the first day he assumed power until today, Bode George did not come out and tell us that. Did I not tell you guys? You kept quiet. So he tell you that we are not, even the elders, even Obasanjo and the rest that you see.
Yeah, Obasanjo, yeah.
All this third force talking about, he's not saying anything. Our politics is not.
All right, so
principle.
quickly and lastly, let's move on to the Daily Independent newspaper for today. Of course, it still borders on the Rivers LG tenor crisis. The footballer orders approval of LG swear-in caretaker chairman. Interestingly, on the bottom strip of the same newspaper, Kano Emirship tussle. NNPP accuses federal government of plotting violence and state of emergency. Again, aviation union call for constitution of a sector board. And we have on the top strip of the same newspaper, APC demands state of emergency in Rivers. Makinde Oke's appointment of Olakunleyin as a fourth Olu Baton. So I know we've talked about this before, especially as it relates the Emirship tussle in Kano State. But the NNPP accusing the federal government of plotting a violent state of emergency. What do you think? Do you think the NNPP is taking more than it can, chew and possibly swallow?
It depends. Okay.
No, go ahead.
Okay, it depends on which arm of NNPP you're talking about. Because there's the arm of NNPP that's fighting the party's presidential candidate in the last election, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso.
Yes.
There's NNPP that is loyal to Kwankwaso.
Okay.
So I think it's the NNPP, loyal to Kwankwaso, that is actually pushing. You see, all of these things are just games. Games that politicians play with intelligence, playing on the intelligence of Nigeria. Kwankwaso and Tinubu are friends. Sanusi and Tinubu are friends. Tinubu will never move to do anything against Sanusi. All of these things just have to do with 2027. Let me just say it in the open. They have to do with 2027. Tinubu wants to assert dominance all over the nation and make sure that any politician who is of consequence, is reduced to size. That's why you see the river situation. That gradually, Wike's influence is going to be eroded to the extent that, in fact, Wike may not even step his foot on River State till further notice. So look at the states where you have dominant politicians. Gradually, they are being withdrawn, and it's the same thing happening in Kano, because Tinubu has told Kwankwaso, return to APC. But Kwankwaso is still looking at, how can I come to APC where Ganduje is in charge? They are mortal enemies, sworn enemies. So look beyond this Kano ML, because one is two brothers, Sanusi and Ado Bayero, two brothers, united by family, united by marriage, fighting each other. So it's not a big deal. Chaos, who will fight who?
All right.
So what you should just know is that it's just all 2027 politics being played here and there. It's nothing. But the thing is that as they are pretending to be fighting behind closed doors, these guys are whining and dining, are just laughing at us.
I don't know. Do you agree with Emeka's submission, particularly on Tinubu's style of politicking? And if that is true, if you agree with his submission, where do you see that taking him in the future?
Well, Tinubu is already threatened by the alliance between Peter Obi and Atiku. It's a heavy threat. Yes. You don't take that with kid gloves. Because if we look at the result, the past result of the 2023 elections, okay, if Atiku's vote and Peter Obi's vote were put together, Tinubu was nowhere to be found. Yeah. You understand? So we're not even going to talk about the issue of winning 25% of 24 states. This one will be overboard. You understand? So
unprecedented.
That trend is lingering. The only luck or the only good thing about the only thing Tinubu can hold on as a matter of confidence in that narrative is that Atiku is headstrong on contesting, and Peter Obi is not going to cave in to. In fact, Peter Obi cannot even try to cave in because he will be overrun by his followers. Because he has been told on several occasions that even him cannot stop the obedient movement. So That's it. But if anything so happened that the two of them are able to come to a compromise, and one person is picked, and the other, just like they did in 2019, whichever way, either will be flag bearer and the running mate, or Atiku flag bearer or running mate, whichever way Tinubu is gone. The next thing Tinubu will now do, if that works, is to just completely buy INEC. Yes, allegedly. That's the only way. That's the only way. That's the only option left. Because then, and you know there will be serious pressure on INEC, because INEC will be tally guided, because we saw what happened in the last election. So nobody will want to play with the whole thing. So 2027 might become one of those years where the political struggle will be so intense. Whichever way you look at it, it's going to be very, very intense, because Tinubu will not want to yield, and these two guys, if they find their bearing, we are set for a very long day.
Tough fight.
Yes,
a very tough fight indeed. Well, that's just the size of our package for this segment. I'd love to say thank you to Pastor Stefan Sufeli and Emeka Madu, and to promise you that both gentlemen will be here to take us also on our main conversation. But when we return, Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra IPOB, wants out of court settlement. We'll be right back. Please don't go anywhere.